A more wholesome topic.
Yeah, well, this is very wholesome. I had a couple of gigs canceled because of the dreaded 19 already this year, and it put me in a. Whenever that happens, I was going to be in New Orleans at the end of the month, and it's not going to happen now because everyone stopped buying tickets because they were afraid of Omicron. Okay, so whenever that happens, I get into kind of a funk, and I watch a lot of stupid television. So I was watching the latest documentary on Playboy, the Playboy Mansion. There've been like 1 million of them. I think I'm in 100 of them. But this one, there was something in it I just had to point out. It said that the dogs at the Playboy Mansion at some point were hooked on cocaine. I swear to God, look, even the dogs at the Playboy Mansion were addicted to cocaine. So now this is not the most important issue, but I thought, you know what? Let's just get one in the win column. Let's do something. I'm going to become a single issue candidate of getting dogs off cocaine. Congressman, I couldn't have you here without talking about West Side Story.
What the hell did you just say?
What? Look,
Clearly, I'm a natural expert on West Side Story.
Fine. Well,
because I'm gay.
No, but part Puerto Rican.
I'm Puerto Rican.
Right. Okay. And your father's from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what half of what the show is about.
Yeah.
Steve, it's a big story because Steven Spielberg, I mean, probably the most successful director in American history, he made the remake recently, and of course he tried to be very woke about it and got nothing but grief. He cast, it's true, Rachel Zegler as Maria. She's half Colombian. I mean, she's Colombian and Polish, I think. So she's not Puerto Rican. That's, I guess, what the complaint was. Do you think people should make a problem of this? I mean, this is the kind of thing that hangs around the necks of progressives, I think, all the time. And people, voters in this country, say, what are they doing? Why? What is the point? You're too woke.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
I'm supposed to be the defender of wokeness? No.
No, I'm just asking. Does Maria in West Side Story have to be Puerto Rican, or can she just be Colombian?
I think look, we should be mindful of diversity, but ultimately I do care about the quality of the end product, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy the show. I've not seen the show, West Side Story.
Movie.
But, or the movie, I'm sorry. So that goes to show you how much of an expert I am on West Side Story.
You didn't even know he made this? Come on.
I'm so knee-deep in Washington, D.C. that...
There's a man who's working for you, right?
West Side cancellation at this point, it's like COVID. Everyone's going to get it.
Excuses are like assholes, Taylor. Everybody got one.
Everyone's going to get it, but it's anyone that tries to make anything or take a risk or do anything creative, but we're living in a world now where Frederick Douglass has been canceled and Abraham Lincoln's been canceled. So why not join the ranks of the canceled? It's pretty great to be free of the bullshit.
I guess look, I share the concerns about cancel culture. My frustration with the conversation about cancel culture is that we often speak of it as though it were an exclusively left-wing phenomenon.
Not me.
And I would argue that the most egregious example of cancel culture in America is Donald Trump's iron grip on the psyche of the Republican Party. There are Republicans.
Absolutely.
There are Republicans who live in fear of cancellation at the hands of Donald Trump. Who are too afraid to tell the truth about the 2020 election, who voted to decertify the results of the election even after a violent assault on the U.S. Capitol. Like, that kind of cancel culture is far more alarming to me than the excesses of
No one
wokeness.
ever got canceled. No one ever got canceled faster or harder than Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
That was a right-wing cancellation. You're right. It happened. There are snowflakes on both sides. But also, if I can bring up one more thing with the woke this week in woke.
That should be like a standing segment.
I thought this is pretty amazing. The Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. I didn't know there was such a thing. It's apparently a museum. That's what I got out of this. The Academy Museum. Maybe this is the Academy. I'm sure we had some museum for motion pictures before, but they started a new one, and apparently they put the arm on the A-listers out here to go.
Were you invited?
No. Are you kidding? I am not part of that thing, and I'm so glad, because I wouldn't want to go. But Brad Pitt showed up, and Queen Latifah showed up, and Nicole Kidman showed up, and Lady Gaga was there, and I know these people don't really want to leave the house to go to this shit, but somebody said, this is important, this is what we do, this is our business, show up. Okay, so this is the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. They left out the Jews.
Yes, they did.
That's pretty amazing. I mean, that's like a Holocaust museum not mentioning the Nazis. I mean, I'm just saying the Nazis were integral to the Holocaust, you know. So, Jewish Hollywood studio founders, I said, make the list. Carl Laemmle, German-born Jew, started Universal Pictures. William Fox, Hungarian-born Jew, that was Fox. Harry Cohen, American-born Jew, Columbia. Adolf Zucker, Hungarian-born Jew, that was Paramount Pictures. Samuel Goldwyn, Polish-born Jew. Marcus Lowe, we still have the Lowe theaters. And Louis B. Mayer, that was MGM. The Jews invented this business. Lock, stock, and tomahawk. I thought this would be a topic you'd want.
He gets the Puerto Rican West Side Story question, I get the Jewish question.
Exactly.
But I know we both believe we can answer both.
I didn't get the Latinx question.
Exactly. Listen, this is part and parcel of a new ideology that claims to be all about diversity, but for some reason, the Jews and Jewish history don't really seem to rank or don't really seem to count. It's an ideology that has whitewashed, frankly, Jewish history, that says that because American Jews are successful, because they benefit from white privilege, because they can change their last name from Ralph Lifshitz to Lauren, that the oppression that they claim, that the victimhood they claim, the fact that, since the 1990s, the Jews are the single most aggrieved group when it comes to religiously motivated hate crimes, including what happened in Texas last Saturday with the hostage taking at the synagogue, which thank God no one was killed. In other words, if you're looking at identity groups merely through the lens of the amount of melanin in your skin, merely through the lens of race, you're going to overlook the unique story of the Jews, the unique oppression that Jews have faced, and their successes, as you were just mentioning in this case.
So why did they leave them out of the Motion Picture Museum? What was the motivation? Just because they wanted to include, and they did include, like, obviously, Spike Lee and people who deserve to be included. They're fantastic filmmakers. But that your theory is that they left them out of prejudice because they're successful?
I don't know enough about the history of the museum. What I know...
There is no history. It just opened.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know about
their history is they fucked up on day one.
Right. So what I would say is, given that this is Hollywood, and given the ideology and the orthodoxy and the dogma that's prevalent here, and the kind of...
This town is run by Jews. Still running.
What they may be thinking is, those are just dead white guys. Sorry.
Oh, so they're the founding father equivalent? That's like tearing down the Lincoln statue?
A little bit.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I'm curious what Ritchie thinks.
Look, I worry about anti-Semitism in our society. There have been attempts to deny the status of Jews as minorities. There have been attempts to exclude pro-Israel Jews in particular from the progressive movement. I feel all of us have an obligation to condemn anti-Semitism no matter what form it takes and no matter what ideological direction from which it comes. So it does feel like our society increasingly fails to treat anti-Semitism with the seriousness that it deserves.
So let me ask you one final question. There's going to be hearings that we're going to see on TV, maybe like the Watergate hearings about January 6th that are going to start. I don't know. Do you know when? You would know this.
In the weeks to come.
That's weeks.
Yeah.
So it'll be in the weeks. Okay. So Jamie Raskin, he is a colleague of yours, right, in
Yes.
Congress?
Yep.
He said they are going to blow the roof off the House in terms of explaining to America what actually happened in the attack on our democracy. I hope everybody will watch. I hope everybody will discuss it and will lead to a report that I hope, again, will be a game changer in terms of American history. Overselling it? Because I feel like I've seen this movie before, where the half of America who already believes it, watches it, and loves it, and the half that doesn't ignores it, and it doesn't matter. You see it differently?
I agree with Jamie, and I was sworn in on January 3rd, 2021, and then lived through the insurrection 3 days later.
Wow.
So it hits close to home. One of my colleagues jokingly said, none of this was happening until you came along. So, but, for me, what is at stake is the survival of our democracy, which can no longer be taken for granted. As Democrats and Republicans, we can have differences of opinions about taxes and spending, about culture and society, but as Americans, we should be united around the peaceful transfer of power as the cornerstone of our democracy. We should be united in defending the idea that political differences should be resolved not by violence, but by elections, by respecting the results of elections.
All right. We will end it there. Here. Thank you, you two.
Fuck you, asshole.